Well, good evening, and thank you for joining us in these snowy conditions. We are recording this, and so for those of you at home watching it, we're ready to go. And we'll also be sending out after this presentation some of the slide deck and some of the other information materials, so you can have access to that as well. So we appreciate you being here tonight as we look at the options for next year in 10th grade. So class of 2022, our theme, as we met a year ago, was really around connecting the dots and talking about all the opportunities that MHS has to offer. So the theme, all of our materials really center around this work and welcoming you to the high school. I hope the first semester has gone well for your student and they really have become part of our school community. Ninth graders have had a lot of different things we've worked on in terms of a class. I want to come back to really the work within our school around the 4 A's. Tonight our focus is going to be around academics. Though I would mention tomorrow during lunches we'll have the annual activities fair for second semester, and that'll be a chance they can go in and learn about all the different activities that MHS has to offer, all the different clubs and things like that. So that's during lunches tomorrow. And then also next week will be Heart Week, as I mentioned in my weekly letter. There are tons of opportunities for students to get involved. All that money next week goes toward Family Friends, which helps students and families in our community. Everything from the dental bus that we have come on campus a couple times a year that provides free dental care for students, to field trip money, all different things. It's a great organization. It really serves our students well. So take a look at that email that'll come from me Sunday that talks about the different opportunities. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention next Thursday on Valentine's Day night, if you're looking for fine dining, come right to the cafeteria at MHS. We've got catering done by Spazo, and it's a benefit dinner, again, for Family Friends. So, we want students to get involved in all the 4 A's. We've talked a lot about our core values during their first semester, about what defines us as a school. It takes 90 pages in a handbook to explain that. We come back weekly, if not daily, to these 2 core values. One of the things that they'll hear about, and we have a class meeting with 9th graders in about 2 weeks, is how do they have an impact? And back to that idea of getting involved, I just want to point out one highlight from this fall. On the right of the screen you have Jay, who is a junior who decided that he thought we should have a TEDx. And so he worked with me, and he did the work really from June until this moment in November, and created the first TEDx at Minnetonka High School around the idea of overcoming adversity. And he answered the call to the question of, how can I make MHS better? So we challenge that to our students. We'll come back to that message with all 9th graders in a week. This is from the retreat that 9th graders had this fall. You see on the left-hand side, they had to make, with shoes, some symbolic representation of the idea of respect. So we're going to come back to that message. In addition to my communication next week, you'll learn about the 9th grade retreat that will happen with Keith Hawkins, who's an international speaker who comes in and builds on that message of standing up for respect. So that'll be coming up next week, and that will also give a chance for 9th graders to close their time with their first mate. It's their final first mate meeting with their senior mentor. A lot of text on the screen. I just want to highlight these 3 boxes with 1 word per each box. The first box really talks about relationships. That is our #1 goal in the building. Hopefully you've seen that during the first semester. Strong student-teacher relationships. We work on building those every day. The bottom left is looking at engagement and making sure every class is engaging. And really what tonight is about is our 3rd goal is around helping students find their passion. What will they want to do beyond MHS? And sometimes students find out that this isn't their passion. They thought, I really want to do business. And then I got into a class and I realized I don't want to do business, which is fine when you're not paying the bill. So it's a good opportunity for students to find out what they like. And also sometimes they find out what they don't like, but helping them find their passion by the time they leave. Tons of opportunities within our school. We have amazing classes, everything from facts to art to technology to some of the specialty programs you hear about tonight. The biggest message I'd come back to is there is no right schedule. Sometimes it can be overwhelming when you look at all the different opportunities that we have here. And I always remind students, this is not what your friend is doing. This is not what you've all posted on Instagram that your schedule choices are for next year. It's really about what do you want to do? How are you going to challenge yourself? How are you going to find your passion? And that's a very individual journey. So I really encourage that idea that there's not a right schedule. It's only what's right for your student, based on what you've talked about with your student, what you've come up with as a plan for the following year. So a lot of opportunities. Tonight's all about academics, all leading toward 22.5 credits, which leads to graduation. And I would bring up on stage Christina Taylor, one of our counselors, to talk about some of the opportunities. Then you'll hear from different program leaders about those programs and some specific information. Then I'll come back at the end with all the resources we have. So thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for making the trek out. And with that, please welcome Christina Taylor.
Thank you again for coming. It's a little Minnetonka miracle. We're all here, safe and sound. So I'm Christina Taylor, one of the counselors in the department, and we really pride ourselves on making sure that our students have a very individualized schedule that is really the right fit for them. Like Mr. Erickson just said, it's not what their friends are taking, it's not what they think they should be taking, it's really about what is right for them and what is going to set them up for success after Minnetonka High School. A nice quote that we like to say from Abraham Lincoln is, "The best way to predict your future is to recreate it." So as counselors, we will be doing registration seminars with all of our freshman students, where we'll be meeting in small groups. We'll be going over all these options that we're talking about tonight to really make sure that they understand everything that they have available for them. We will also be meeting individually and as need basis, and of course are always here to answer your questions. So we're going to be talking about different programs that we have here to offer at the school and kind of setting that up for you. In 10th grade, I'm just going to pull them all up. In 10th grade, we're still going to be looking at those core classes that the state of Minnesota requires for graduation. Moving forward, we have more and more options in 11th and 12th grade to take more elective and kind of those special and unique programs that Minnetonka High School has to offer that many other schools don't. We are an international baccalaureate school. This is a program that our juniors and seniors, many will be a part of. Again, it's only for juniors and seniors, but why we like to mention it to our students is that they make sure they kind of take care of their gym credits and their art credits that they need to get out of the way. So that's, again, something that we can talk to your students individually about if that's something they're wanting to look into. We have advanced placement options. We do have options for students to take next year as 10th graders, but again, they'll have more options as they get to 11th and 12th grade. Our Minnetonka Research Program, that is for 11th and 12th graders as well. However, the prerequisite is to have a AP or an IB class and to be successful in this class. So again, that's another thing that we can talk to your students about if they're interested in that. We have many Talk Online options, as well as our Vantage program that you'll be hearing about a little bit later, and then as well as our immersion program that many of your students are involved in. So Mr. Erickson had mentioned the 22.5 credits for graduation. This is something as counselors that we're constantly monitoring to make sure that they're on track to get those credits, to be at US Bank Stadium. But we also really want to make sure that our students have an understanding of what they need for that graduation as well, so they kind of feel like they have ownership of their schedule and make sure that they're feeling on track. So just to briefly go through what the Minnesota state requires. Your student needs to be in 4 years of an English, so that's something if you ever see your child's schedule and they don't have English in there, they should always have an English class. They need 3.5 years of social studies, so that would be freshman to junior year, and then their senior year they would only need a half credit, but some students will take beyond that if they're interested in that subject area. 3 years of math, 3 years of science is required. However, many of our students at Minnetonka will take a 4th year as a senior in preparation for college admissions. Okay, I'm just going to go over different options that we have in those core subject areas that I just talked about. And again, this is something we're going to be talking with your students about during those registration seminars. But to go over our 3 options for English, we have English 10, which is our general English class. English 10 honors, anything with an honors is going to be a little bit more rigorous. It's going to require a little bit more homework at night for your students to make sure that they complete. And then we have an American Studies honors class, which is also paired with a social studies class. They're back-to-back classes in their schedule. This class requires a little bit more writing, a little bit more discussion, and many students that are thinking about potentially taking the IB International Baccalaureate program will often take this as preparation. Social studies, here are 3 options. They'll be taking either contemporary U.S. history, which is our general course, They'll also have the option to take AP US History, which again will require a little bit more of the reading component, go at a little bit more rigorous pace. We do have an optional pre-AP push through Tonka online course, which is a summer program that can help students that maybe want to prepare in order to take that AP class, especially if they've never taken one before. It can be very helpful. And then also that American Studies honors class that I talked about that's paired with English. Mathematics. The number one thing as counselors we say is please talk to your teachers in order to get a recommendation about what they consider to be a good math class for you for the following year. Teachers are going to be talking with students individually and giving their recommendation. And we will also, counselors will also have access to that recommendation so we can talk to your students about that as well. For science, we have 4 options here. The first one is Principles of Chemistry. This class will go at a little bit slower pace, and if your student feels like maybe math or science isn't their strongest subject area, this class can be a really good fit for them. It does meet college admission requirements, so you never have to feel like it's not going to set them up for success after high school, as well as our general chemistry class. We also have our chemistry honors class. Again, it's going to go at a little bit faster pace, as well as the AP chemistry option as well. And it also has the option to take that in the summer for Tonka Online. World languages, as you can see, we have so many languages here from ASL, Chinese, French, German, Spanish. If your child is already in a current language, they can go ahead and get their recommendation from their teacher. If your child is not in one and they would like to start one, that's a great option for them to do for 10th grade. Or we even have some students that say, hey, you know what, I tried Spanish, it doesn't work for me, I feel like I may be more of a visual learner, and they can go ahead and start an ASL. So it's still a great time to get in a language, a world language, if that's something they would like to do, and it's also typically a requirement at least 2 years for college admissions. Okay, so just talking about some of our art credit or elective credits. Art, I will touch on that in the next slide. Physical education, students need 2 of those credits. So again, it's a good idea to try to kind of knock one of those out at least your 10th grade year, or some students like to take 2 of those gym classes. And health is embedded within the schedule, 0.5 credits. We also have various Tonka Online options for these classes as well. So moving to the arts, this is kind of a unique thing, and I think it's really impressive that Tonka offers just so many different options for students to achieve the 2 art credits that is needed for graduation. Yes, we have your typical drawing and painting and ceramics, things that you kind of think in your head when you picture art. But we also have theater classes, we have airbrush, we have design classes, so many different classes that actually fit the art requirement, and all of that is listed in the Skipper log that you can view online, as well as many Tonka Online options. So for electives, students need 6.5 credits of elective to graduate, and those will automatically be embedded within your schedule as they go out through their senior year. Some new classes we just wanted to point out. We have a new theater arts class coming. We have a new cybersecurity class coming, which is great. And we also have a differential equations and linear algebra class. We're also adding a new Vantage strand that I believe we'll be touching on in a little bit. This is a unique and cool strand that's being offered to our 10th graders. It's going to be housed here in Minnetonka. The user experience UX design, and again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We have many opportunities here at Tonka, and one of the programs that we want to address is our International Studies program as well. This is another really unique program where students are in contact with different schools across the world. We have over 10 different countries that students are able to research, from Greece, Norway, South Africa. They meet every other week in the morning during 0 hour, and students will often travel to these countries after they've been communicating with the school and learning about the culture. Another really unique program is Project Lead the Way. This is a pre-engineering and architectural design program. You may earn college credit for this, so meaning that it's a class that's embedded in our schedule here at Minnetonka High School, but students that do well in the class can earn college credit, and it's great for if you're thinking architecture, engineering. All right, well, I'm gonna have Mr. Gibbs come on up and talk about Tonka Online. And if you have any questions, we'll be here after.
All right, good evening, welcome. So glad you're here and that you made it here safely. The roads are a little precarious. So glad that you're here with us now. I'm going to talk a little bit about Tonka Online with my partner here, Ben Standerson. He supports some of our work around digital learning. So you may be wondering as we go through this presentation, how do I help my student fit all of these amazing opportunities into their schedule? And the way we view Tonka Online, particularly for our 10th grade students, is it's a maximizer in terms of creating opportunities for flexibility with our students. And so currently we have over 50 programs, 50 courses, Tonka Online. These courses are taught by Minnetonka High School teachers. And so what's unique about the digital learning experience at Minnetonka is that these are teachers that are working with our students during the school day. They're teachers that Tonka Online students have access to during the school day, before school, or during mass. And so even though the interface is happening digitally, there's also a person here at school that they can connect with as they engage in their online learning experience. The courses are fully accredited by the state of Minnesota and Department of Education, and they really allow students to engage in learning in their own space, at their own pace, and on their own time. So you'll hear from Ben a little bit about some of the features related to our online programming. And then you'll hear from a student at the end of this who highlights his experience with online learning. If you have questions or want to go deeper in this kind of thought around online learning, we're holding a webinar tomorrow at noon and then at 6 p.m. where we're really going to give you an overview of the courses that we offer digitally, the requirements, and the student experience related to that. So that's a little bit about Tonka Online, and Mr. Standerson will talk a little bit more.
Great, thank you, Mr. Gibbs. I wanted to just highlight a little bit more about the Tonka Online experience and some of the things that we find really sets our program a little bit apart. My role is a technology support, but I also am a Tonka Online instructor, and so I work really closely with the teachers and help support them in the process, but then I also get to interact with online students as well. And throughout those kinds of interactions, I can say that these numbers really do hold true. We're proud of the fact that we have a growing catalog of classes, and for incoming 10th graders, some of the courses that you might want to consider are those that we offer over this summer. We, as Ms. Taylor already mentioned about some of the pre-courses, like our pre-AP history and our pre-AP chemistry, those tend to be some that are populated by incoming 10th graders to help them prepare for some of that advanced coursework. We also have a lot of students consider PE as an option in the summer, or maybe a elective like a drawing, or we have digital photography. So as you're considering your options, and they are many, think about how Tonka Online might be a component that fits in with that, and it's becoming one of those things that's a lot more attainable. Our numbers are growing considerably, and so you can see over 1,500 students have at one point taken a Tonka Online class in their careers here at the high school. And so it becomes one of those things that more people are finding very useful in terms of the flexibility that Mr. Gibbs was talking about, but also just the type of learning that they're looking for. All right, we're going to close with a short video from a student's perspective who's in Tonka Online and a few things that he wants to share.
My name is Sam Dahl, and I'm a Tonka Online student. I chose Tonka Online because it gave me more flexibility in my schedule and the ability to prioritize things. I learn best when I am able to create my own schedule. Because I took a Tonka Online course, I was able to fit more courses into my schedule. Tonka Online allowed me to continue my experience in the band program, as well as with the Minnetonka Research Program this year. In the future, I plan to program similar style courses to the Tonka Online program in college. I'm Sam Dahl, and I'm a Tonka Online student.
All right, great. Thank you, Sam Dahl. And I'm going to turn things over to Ms. Herbst, and she's going to talk a little bit more about some programming.
All right. Hello, I'm Laura Herbst. I'm the Advanced Learning Coordinator, and now that your high schooler is a semester in to 9th grade and being here tonight, I'm sure you're well aware there are lots of options, and I'm just going to highlight a couple of our advanced coursework options. You heard Christina talk about some AP course offerings that your soon-to-be 10th grader has. We have some additional AP elective courses, and then those open up even more as we get into 11th and 12th grade too. We have 31 AP classes. Advanced placement, the idea of AP courses are they're designed to mimic an entry-level college class, so they move at a faster pace, they cover a great deal of material, and then they have an external assessment in May that students take for potential college credit, and I'll talk about that in a moment too. And then also Christina mentioned the IB Diploma Program. This again is for 11th and 12th grade students. And students are able to do individual IB courses, or they can pursue the full IB Diploma Program for the whole 11th and 12th grade years. And the idea behind IB courses in the Diploma Program is it's a rigorous academic program that prepares students for after high school, but it's a lot more about kind of the heart, the mind, and the body too, not just the academics. It's about teaching students to be critical thinkers who are globally minded and are going to be able to take information and really think and learn deeply about it and form their own opinions and then communicate those verbally in written form. So a lot of the courses are based largely on discussion and group work, and it has kind of a nice global mindset that students leave high school with a unique set of skills. And Christina also mentioned that if students are particularly interested in the diploma program, a nice option for them for 10th grade can be that American Studies class, which is that blocked social studies and English course that has more of an IB flavor to how IB courses typically run. That also has an end of the year May component exam from IB. And a couple of reasons that we encourage students to take AP and IB courses is, for one, it carries an additional weight for calculating students' GPA. So typically students, if they earn an A, it's worth 4.0 on a 4.0 scale. In advanced courses, AP and IB, it actually holds a 5.0 weight, so it can impact their GPA based on them passing the AP or IB exam. And then also based on how they perform, universities tend to award credit or advanced standing for how they do, and that looks different for every university, but that can be a nice way for students to, for one, prepare for college level work, but also walk into whatever university with some credit on their transcript already, or advanced placement into higher level courses. But beyond that, this, as Christina and Mr. Erickson have talked about, the courses they select are so individual. It makes, all the difference in thinking about what your student is interested in and not interested in. And we encourage students to take on rigorous classes where they have a passion or an interest, or if they want to dabble in a subject area. But this is going to look different for every student. The vast majority of our students do take AP and IB courses. Last year, the class of 2018, almost 84% of them did take at least one AP or IB course. And our students do really well. The Minnesota average for pass rates for both AP and IB is more around the 60% mark, and same with global pass rates as well. So our students do very well here, and part of that is they're such hard workers, and we want students to do this too, because we know that it can be a stretch for some students. Some kids are kind of born with the ability to time manage and take on these, advanced courses, but we also recognize that it's a new endeavor for some students, and we want them to have that practice in an area that makes sense for them while they're in high school, where they have access to their teacher every day, where they have access to a writing center, math tutors, their school counselor, all these different supportive networks that they have here, and that feels and looks very different than going off and doing that in college where you're paying a lot of tuition. So we hope that students do that in areas that make sense for them. And with that in mind, coming soon, August 2019, particularly for students who are taking an AP or an IB course for the first time, we're going to have Launch Strategies for Success. It's a workshop for students to help them kind of front load some of those skills that are needed for advanced coursework. So talking more generally about time management, stress management, note-taking, those kinds of things, but also delving into subject-specific areas and close reading and note-taking and what that looks like in different subject areas. So that'll be coming soon for students who are taking on advanced courses for the first time. I think next I'm going to hand it over to Kim Haney, the Director of Minnetonka Research.
Thank you. I'm just going to start us off with a quick little, I think student voice is so important, and so we have a short video here just to let you hear a little bit about Minnetonka Research from a student perspective. Minnetonka Research is a program where students are able to pursue areas of interest that they have.
All you need to do well and enjoy research is just to be really interested in something. We develop our own kind of project and then work on this throughout the entire year. The relationship between hormone relaxin and female injuries in female athletes, food allergies, more specifically how to diminish the allergic response or inhibit it, engineering mesenchymal stem cells, and then we attach gold nanoparticles to them to essentially attack tumors within the body.
A continuation of my project from last year, which is developing autonomous drones to fly into buildings and generate three-dimensional maps of them for search and rescue and other purposes.
So based upon what they're interested in and what they're curious about, they'll design an experiment that'll go through the proposal phase. They have professional mentors to be able to help them with some of the technical aspects as well as the communication pieces along the way. And then they get to perform that experiment, look to see what they expect is going to happen, but then see what really does happen and do the analysis of that and draw some conclusions.
I think that one of my biggest takeaways from research is the connections that I've made, like the connection with my mentor, the connection with the postdocs at my lab. It's really dealing with things in a professional manner. How to proceed in the adult or in scientific or just professional world. It's like a year-long capstone project in that I've learned how to talk to adults and communicate, writing emails all the time. I have spent my lunchtime in research just to get things done because it's a quiet space. It's a great environment. We get the freedom to create our own course. We can research what we want.
I think it's really exciting to be able to pursue something that I'm passionate about and really make the experience my own and kind of pursue things at my own pace and learn about the things that I want to learn about. It's really rewarding to apply all the things that I've learned throughout my, not even just high school, but even before that, and apply it towards something that I can really own and say, like, I did this, and something that's unique and, contributing to the scientific knowledge.
So I think that's one of the really key messages is that students get to dive into something that they're passionate about. And there are a lot of science projects that happen, but there are also lots of projects that are going on that are not your natural sciences, your physics, your chem, your biology, but we have some political science projects occurring. We have astronomy. We have some on the NCAA, doing some statistics, just music. Kids who are in love with music are doing some music projects. So there is really a lot of opportunities for kids to be able to do things that they're interested in. So if they have a passion for learning and diving deep into something that they want to learn more about, setting their pace, as Partha mentioned, it's a great place for them to be. The prerequisite, and the reason I'm talking to you tonight, the prerequisite is that they've taken an AP or an IB course in an area that's going to support perhaps their intended area of research. And so as a incoming sophomore, that might want to be something that's on your radar as you're registering. We do offer Minnetonka Research 1 and Research 2. So we do have students who take it for more than 1 year and take it as a junior and then come back as a senior and either choose a different project or choose to extend that project. We have 4 core domains that we're really emphasizing in terms of the skills that we're developing in students. One is content knowledge, so diving deep into the subject area that you want to research. 2 is the research process, and so they go through a proposal phase, doing a literature review, learning about what's already out there, writing a proposal, getting it approved, moving into the research process, working with mentors and instructors, and then moving into writing a technical scientific literature kind of paper, as well as doing a poster presentation at our Minnetonka Symposium at the end of the year. We also develop professional skills, as they work with those mentors, and also communication skills, both speaking and writing. So a lot of skills that come out of the development, and it's so fun to see the development of those kids along the way. If you want to know more about it, we do have some upcoming sessions. Thursday night, we have an information night here. We have a lab open house from 6 o'clock to 6:45, followed by an information session for parents and students. We have a couple masked open houses coming up as well if you check out the website, along with a webinar. So we'd love to see you and your students up there if you have any questions. And then Mr. Burns and myself will be in the back afterwards if you have any questions. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Andre next.
I have a video too. What do you know?
What is Vantage?
Vantage is professional.
Vantage is off campus.
Vantage is real world.
Choose a strand. Digital journalism.
Business analytics.
Business in a global economy.
Health sciences. Global food sustainability, economics, and the environment.
Design and marketing.
Guest instructors will give you their real world insights.
You'll be connected to industry professionals in the field of your choice. Vantage is a real world immersive learning experience.
Get a personal mentor to guide your learning. My mentor works at Optum Health.
Then work on real projects for the companies you could work for someday.
Like Best Buy, Target, Cargill, Valley Fair, SunOpta, and Medica, just to name a few.
I help develop marketing materials for an upcoming realty company.
How would you like to add that to your college application?
Vantage has options for Chinese and Spanish immersion, para incluir a todos.
Vantage is helping me bring my Chinese to the next level.
Vantage 帮我的中文带到下一个级别。
What is Vantage?
Vantage is opportunity. See if a career strand is right for you before college.
Vantage has helped us develop our own company, a consignment-based resale store.
Vantage is taking what we know to the next level.
Vantage is life.
And it's waiting for you.
My slide's not advancing. If anyone back there can help with that. Thanks, Dave. My name's Roger Andre. I'm the director at Vantage, and thanks for coming out. It's been a fun couple of days, actually a fun 10 days or so. Yesterday I got to use my skates to get out to my car, and it's fun to have that exciting opportunity in the Minnesota winter. So I don't know how familiar you are with Vantage, but Vantage is a multifaceted experiential learning program. So students come to Vantage and they either take a 2-period or a 3-period strand in the morning or the afternoon. It's off-site. We operate in 2 different facilities this year. And they get a mentor. They work on projects with teams of students with real companies and nonprofits in the area. They take classes in these facilities or in our locations, but they take them differently. They're team taught. There's more than one teacher, and there's more than one academic department. So we put English with video production, or we put global business with AP statistics. So we put 2 disciplines together, and the teachers from those 2 departments team teach and create a cohesive experience around a theme. And then we do a lot of site visits, so we go off to different locations and see what people do in those locations. We have a lot of events like HR Day, and we have a Shark Tank contest, and all of these elements combine to create a really, really rich, authentic learning experience for students across the course of the year. Oh, and down on the bottom, all of our students get a mentor. So we had 285 students at Vantage this year, and we have 285 mentors, and the students are responsible for managing a relationship with an adult who works in a company. And I was just talking with Kim Haney earlier this afternoon about the differences in our mentor program, and our mentor program is very much about coaching about life. So our students have 9 meetings with their mentor at least, and one of the meetings is on how do I work with teams, and another meeting is on how do I do presentations, another one is how do I manage stress when I have too much to do, and we give them those 9 topics. A lot of mentor meetings or mentor relationships go way beyond that, but it's very much about developing life skills so that you can go out after high school and excel in whatever environment you go to next. So Vantage has 7 different strands. We have 1 that's new for next year, but the other 6, as I said, are a combination of 2 or 3 different classes. Some of them are business oriented. One of them is very health sciences oriented. Some of them are more creative, Business analytics is very mathematical and statistical, but it's also very business oriented. So you have two choices to make. One is Vantage right for my son or daughter? And then the second question, if you've decided that this is something that you think would be good for them, they have to pick which strand is best for them. Although they don't have to just pick one, because all of our strands are available to juniors and seniors, and I think we have about 40 or 50 students who are seniors that were juniors last year. So a lot of our juniors do it as a junior and decide that was a great experience and I want to do a different strand as a senior. For the first time next year, we have a strand available to sophomores, the user experience design strand. That's been a long time coming. We've heard over and over, how come you guys don't have computer science? Because who wants to learn computer science in a classroom? You should just go out and build stuff for businesses. And that's what our students in that strand are going to do. They'll be building mobile apps and websites for small businesses as they learn how to do that from an academic perspective. The reason we do Vantage, in addition to being a great experience for our students, is we are trying to set our students up to go out in whatever environment they're going to go to next and beyond that environment with a set of skills that will allow them to excel, which in the modern world means working with teams, communicating powerfully and effectively, being ready to lead things, knowing how to operate professionally in whatever environment you're in, and how to think critically and solve problems. So all the activities that we do at Vantage are designed to build these 5 skill sets in our students, so when they leave Vantage, they're ready to go out and excel in professional environments. We have a lot of programs for people to come learn about the details of Vantage. We have a program around the different modules in the morning, so if you want to come to the Vantage facility and see what it looks like and learn about design and marketing or digital journalism or any of our strands, all the information's on our website. It's rolling out very quickly over the next couple of weeks. So if you want to take advantage of one of those opportunities, I encourage you to go to the website right away and find out what's out there. There are probably 7 or 8 or 9 of them. We also visit a lot of classrooms and get in touch with students and try to get their questions answered. And we will also be in back. We have some boards out there, so if you have questions about the program, we would love to answer them. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Freya Schirmacher. I'm one of the assistant principals here at the high school, and I also work closely with the immersion program. So if you are a parent of a student who's in the immersion program, I'm just going to talk briefly about some of the opportunities for next year. Essentially, if you have an incoming 10th grade student, there's 2 choices you may be thinking about during registration. The first one is which immersion language arts class should you take? And that's largely dictated by the course that they're currently in. It will most likely either be a humanities course or AP, either in Chinese or Spanish. So your child's teacher will probably be able to provide some important feedback about which language arts course to take. The other option is which immersion elective to take. And here on the list, there are several electives that are available to 10th grade students. It's a wonderful opportunity to take a second hour in your immersion target language. It really increases the proficiency and fluency and experience in that language, so I would encourage you to do so. If you haven't already received the flyer when you walked in, there's a handout for both Chinese immersion and Spanish that has more information about this. And also your students on Thursday will be getting more information from their teachers as well. If you have any questions about immersion, I'll be here afterwards, so you can come and find me as well. Thank you.
So in a few moments, we have a chance to meet your child's counselor. We've got a number of counselors here this evening, as well as our opportunities within small groups for your own student to connect with his or her counselor and make some of the choices. So they'll be here this evening. We talked about our goals, relationships, really amazing learning. The exciting graphic. No graphic. So there's a lot of information on the website, and if you take a look at that, you'll see the grade level, all the information is there, access to the videos, resources that we've talked about tonight. Also new this year, the Skipper log is moved and has moved online, so you can take a look at that within the registration website. It's a lot easier for us to be able to quickly update information, embed videos, and all the information related to registration and specific courses. So if you go to the Skipper log on the website, you can see it all online and ready to go. You can see just from the web view. And then all the different courses as well. If you want to print something out, there's certain those documents that can be printed out in a PDF. All the course descriptions are there, photos, like I said, website, video information, all within that specific website. Couple key dates. We have the curriculum fair. That has really changed over the past few years, where we'll have families of all grade levels attend that event. There will be a specific, for example, breakout session for immersion. So if you want much more detail, there'll be a breakout session for immersion families. At that time, Vantage has a session, science research. All the different programs have their opportunity to connect, and that'll be coming on email from me with those specific information and those dates. Registration, actually when students go into Skyward to sign up, March 1st through the 10th. As I've said before, there's no advantage to waiting to 12:01 on the 1st to sign up thinking you're going to get access to something that if you wait until the 10th. It is all, at the end of the day, we look at the 10th. It doesn't matter when you sign up. Every year we build that schedule from ground zero. And so it's based on the number of students who request a course. That's how we build our schedule. Conferences take place during this time frame. This is a great chance to connect with your student's teacher and talk about those options. I am also I need to mention tonight that the booster store is open. If you're wondering what to wear tomorrow, there's a lot of different options there. And there is a discount, and it is actually code word Jeff, for $5 off. So if you're looking for a particular item, sorry, home audience, that offer is now passed for you if you're watching online. But for you here in the audience, we're making it out this evening, $5 off any item. A lot of ways to find out what's happening in the school. I remind you of the weekly videos that we talk about. Twitter, Instagram are all the different ways I communicate with students. And a lot of this information will be put online. And we really found with some of our videos, we're redoing quite a few of them, like the video with Sam, a senior. That video is about 40 seconds. And so we really look at videos are about 40 to 50 seconds to get students interested in all the different options that we have. So that's online, and we'll be sharing those with students. So this is just a typical day in the hallway here at MHS. And I just want to thank you for being here this evening. It really, as you look at the options, registration really is a season here. We start in late January and go all the way to March 10th. To give you time and your students time to figure out what is the right option for next year. What courses might you choose? And have a chance to talk with students. Many of the opportunities that we've talked about this evening that are coming up are chances for students to talk directly with students in those specific courses to find out what is it really like. So take advantage of that time. Look at all the amazing opportunities we have here to figure out what the right schedule is for your student next year. So counselors are going to come forward and they can answer any specific questions that you have. Otherwise, thanks for being here this evening. Drive safely, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.